Hello and welcome to E Pluribus Unum's Fireside Chats. Not as good as FDR's, but hey, it's something. So, today, we're of course going to get into the E Pluribus Unum Awards, i.e. the awards I made up in a day. But first, we're of course going to get right into the news. And of course, first we begin with something from my home state. Hooray! This thing is finally going to get resolved. State Board of Elections votes to unanimously to hold a new election in NC District 9. On the fourth day of North Carolina State Board of Elections hearing, the board voted unanimously to hold a new election in the 9th District. Prior to the vote, Republican Mark Harris called for a new election. The hearing began Monday morning to begin publicly disclosing events into a months-long investigation into alleged election fraud election fraud. I said election frog. But, you know, the Pepes haven't won yet. I mean, they kind of have with Donald Trump, but blah, 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 blah. The investigation began in late November after NCSBE voted to not certify results of 9th District. So basically, the 9th District is going to eventually actually get a person to be in their seat. Of course, it's not going to be Mark Harris, because Mark Harris cheated. And it has potential of being Dan McCready, the Democrat who was bitching and moaning because of this. And I mean, not saying that he was bitching and moaning in a bad way. It was in a good way. But, you know, he's a blue dog, so I'm not particularly a fan of him. But, you know, you're not going to always get what you want. And Jeff Scott, the Libertarian, is going to be running again. And Roy Cooper tried to prevent them from having a primary in this election if they didn't certify the election, but they are going to have a primary, so there's potential of like a Democratic primary challenger to replace him. But, you know, whatever, this is going to happen. And the next story, Alabama is already waving goodbye to its fluke Senator Doug Jones. It doesn't really matter which Republican takes the Democratic's Doug Jones in November 2020, spoiler alert, as long as it isn't Roy Moore. If the GOP can avoid a candidate with the kind of baggage Moore had, Jones seems destined to lose his bid to win a full term representing Alabama in the Senate. Jones is the most vulnerable Senate Democrat facing re-election in 2020, and most think he's as good as gone. I don't think Jones has much of a chance at all holding his seat next year, political analyst Stuart Rothenberg recently wrote. Simply put, his special election was a fluke, not likely to be repeated. Well, I mean, to be fair, that is true. Ignore this. Okay. I don't think Jones has much of a chance either, particularly. Doug Jones is, you know, diet Republican. And, you know, if you give someone a choice between diet Republican and, you know, literal Republican, they're always going to pick literal Republican. It's like if you give someone a choice between Diet Coke and regular Coke, they're going to pick regular Coke. That's just a given. But of course, you know, people are going to say, well, why Doug Jones should have moved closer to the center. But no, that's not at all what happens. But anyways, let's move on to the next story. I'm actually going to do this one before I do the bigger one. Durbin after reading Green New Deal. What in the heck is this? Senator Dick Durbin on Wednesday declined to say if he will vote for the Green New Deal resolution, saying that after he read it, he asked a key sponsor of the legislation, what the heck is this? At this point, I can't tell you, to be honest with you. I've read it and I reread it and I asked Senator Markey, what in the heck is this? He says in aspiration, you know, for a resolution aspiration, Durbin said on MSNBC's Morning Joe, Referring to the Democratic senator from Massachusetts, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is expected to force a vote on the resolution, which Republicans believe will provide fodder for the 2020 elections by forcing a handful of Democratic presidential hopefuls to go on the record for or against the measure. The resolution, unveiled earlier this month by Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Markey, is non-binding but backs a net zero greenhouse gas emissions in the United States while saying that it would create millions of good high-wage jobs. 11 Democrats, including Markey, Senator Bernie Sanders, have formally signed on to the resolution. And here's actually the most hilarious part. It's going to backfire. You know how it's going to backfire? They think that if Kamala Harris and Cory Booker and Kirsten Gillibrand, they think they're going to put them in a trump card by being like, see, they voted for the resolution. You know what that means? That's a bad thing, and the Democratic base is not going to vote for them. Well, technically, it could hurt their chances if they don't vote for it. If they do vote for it, their chances are going to go up. Because people love the Green New Deal. People love the Green New Deal. It is going to win over the base. In fact, pretty much, even if you don't actually say, I support the Green New Deal, all you got to do is support the policies behind it. And speaking of the Green New Deal, this next story is a video. And, pretty much here's what happened. A bunch of kids affiliated with Sunrise Movement decided to make a letter and then go over to Senator Dianne Feinstein, the senator from California, to try and get her to pass the legislation of the Green New Deal, at least sign on to it. And here's what happened. You probably have already seen it because, but here's what happened.
New Deal! We are trying to ask you to vote yes on the Green New Deal.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We have our own Green New Deal.
Some scientists have said that we have 12 years to turn this around.
Well, it's not going to get turned around in 10 years. What we can do,
Senator, if this doesn't get turned around in 10 years, you're looking at the faces of the people who are going to be living with these consequences.
The government is supposed to be for the people and by the people and all for the people.
You know what's interesting about this group is I've been doing this for 30 years. I know what I'm doing. You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway. I don't respond to that. I've gotten elected. I just ran. I was elected by almost 1 million vote plurality. And I know what I'm doing. So, maybe people should listen a little bit.
I hear what you're saying, but we're the people who voted you. You're supposed to listen to us. That's your job. I'm 16. I can't vote.
You didn't vote for me.
Well, I'm 24.
It doesn't matter. We're the ones who's going to be impacted.
Means something.
It doesn't matter. We're going to be the ones who are impacted.
I understand that. I have 7 grandchildren. I understand it very well.
Senator, the cost of not taking this action is far higher than the cost of what the Green New Deal will be. And there is enormous popularity for this bill around the whole country. And we're asking you to be brave and do this for us and for your grandchildren.
Get enough for everyone. I'm trying to do the best I can, which was to write a responsible resolution.
Any plan that doesn't take bold, transformative action is not going to be what we need.
Well, you know better than I do. So I think one day you should run for the Senate.
Great.
And then you do it your way.
But by that time,
in the meantime,
there's going to be a big problem.
I just won a big election.
Yeah, that was the
Oh boy. That is not good. And I really only have one thing to say to Dianne Feinstein. Fuck you. Seriously. She's such an, literal asshole. These children are literally going up to her and they pretty much saying, "Ma'am, can we please not die from climate change?" And she's like, "Okay, I promise you won't die from climate change." Psych! You bitch boy got yeeted. Pokemon Go to the polls. And, well, you know, that doesn't... It's just... You're looking at these kids and like, this Green New Deal that is actually going to help and change things? Nah, I'm not going to support that. Here's what I am going to support. I'm going to support a shitty half measure. That's how it's going to work, right? Like, wow. This is... Diane, can you at least give the pleasure of having these kids be living to 100? Can you at least give them that pleasure? Can you at least give them that pleasure? Because I would really prefer that you have the dignity to allow these children to, like, you don't even look at these, like, you look at these kids and they're nothing to you. I don't remember, I know I just saw the video, but I don't remember if in this particular one, oh yeah, she did. She did say in this video, like, "You're 16, you didn't vote for me." Bitch, she's a resident of California. She is your constituent. You fucking moron. You are a complete brain-dead moron. You do not understand the concept of standing up for your constituents because you've been there for so long. You're just some rich asshole who I'm stuck for words. Like, originally I was gonna call Dianne Feinstein's office, but I'm just at such a loss of words. And eventually I will have the decency to record it so you'll be able to know. But, I mean, I'll probably have to call my own representative first, but this is complete brain-dead nonsense. You are literally looking these children dead in the eyes and saying, "I'm not going to support this Green New Deal, but if you don't do it, we'll die." Yeah, but who cares because I'm an old bitch. Haha. Unfucking believable. Why would anyone... And it's baffling. How the hell did she get elected again? She just mentioned, like, "I got elected again." She was running against many progressive Democrats. Allison Hartson, David Hildebrand, Pat Harris, Kevin De Leon. She was also running against, like, I forget who they are, but, you know, there was a Peace and Freedom candidate and a Green Party candidate. How the hell did she lose to all of them? This is just nonsense. Like, legitimately, if she died tomorrow, there would be no loss. I would not care. She wouldn't even get a video remembrance of me. Because I legitimately do not care about Dianne Feinstein. She has to go, whether it be resignation, or, you know, voting her out, or if she keels over. I don't care. This woman literally proves that she understands nothing about the position she is in. The constituents literally walked up to her and said, "Hey, can you support this legislation?" She's like, "No, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to come up to me and tell me what to do." Bitch, that is the fucking point. The point of an elected official. You go there and you do what your constituents tell you to do, it's baffling. And remember, this is the bluest of blue states. The resistance, everyone. Many people wonder, like, how did Bernie lose California and New York? Because they're not really left. They're the fake left. The ones that are like, oh, we support gay people, but, you know, we're not going to support anything else. I mean, Green New Deal, what are you talking about? Gavin Newsom literally had a plan that was supposed to be for, like, universal monorail or something, but he just got rid of that too. It's like, wow, this is just so freaking stupid. How in the hell is this possible? I really, really wish that, you know, I wish that the legal age to run in a congressional district was like 20 or something. Because if it was, I would be running next. I would initiate a run for Congress tomorrow, just so I can have the ability to go up to Dianne Feinstein, if I win. I mean, when I win, because I have a secret plan to get in. It's not going to involve cheating, but it's going to involve playing the system a bit. But, you know, I could explain it, but I think I explained it in the past episode. Basically, the idea is, you know, I run as a Democrat because I live in a deep blue district, and then switch as an independent so I can be like, haha, got you. And then, you know, ride the wave. But anyways, like, and just, I would literally go up to Dianne Feinstein's face and tell this to her. Because, you know, as a public official, you gotta silence that little introvert bullcrap. I mean, I guess I just run it out. But anyways, next story. She says he's a communist. He says she's a Republican. Strange Democratic primary in St. Louis. 2 Democrats fighting for the same seat in St. Louis. Board of aldermen accuse each other of hiding something. She says he's a communist, and he says she's a Republican. It's the 14th Ward Democratic primary, which includes the Bayville Mill neighborhood in South City. Longtime incumbent Carol Howard says their challenger, Tony Pesionovsky, isn't telling voters the whole truth. He's running as a Democrat, but he's affiliated with the Communist Party USA, Howard says. Pesionovsky says that Howard is the one who's pretending to be a Democrat. I'm more of a Democrat than the current alderperson who would liken to, because of her political stances, a member of the Republican Party. Google Tony I'm just not going to pronounce the last name. And plenty of articles with his byline pop up in the party's website. An interview with him in the Jacobin magazine identified him as a national board member of the Communist Party USA. Sitting down in an interview, he said at first he didn't want to talk about his Communist Party views until after the election. Are you affiliated with the Communist Party USA? He said, I'm a member of a lot of different organizations. I mean, who cares? Honestly, who cares? I mean, if he's running as a Democrat, it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure he's not hiding his views. I mean, I know my views have kind of... Would I endorse him? I don't know. I mean, I've endorsed a Trotskyist. I'm currently endorsing a Trotskyist. Not because I like Trotskyism or am a Trotskyist. Like, I mean, I don't even identify as a socialist. I identify as a social democrat, which will get people like Sedinem, Kinmo, Christian Moyo, Caesar Curry, and Ian Schlockman to be a little mad at me. Sorry, but you know, I'm not a socialist. But you know, I mean, you know, I'm open to the idea of endorsing socialists and blah blah blah. I have endorsed people who've openly called themselves socialists before, but so maybe I could endorse him, especially considering his office is small. It's the same reason why endorsing Trotskyist Allison Kennedy was easy. It's like, oh, what she's gonna do as mayor, like legitimately, what she's gonna do as mayor, cause a Stalinist takeover. I mean, I think is the Socialist Workers. Hold on. Oh, it wasn't that she was a Trotskyist. It was that she was a Castroist. I mean, I don't think is she in particular a Castroist? I don't know. I mean, I like Peter Cameo. Who the heck is she? I know she's here. My brain's turned off. I don't know if she herself is a Castroist or a Trotskyist. I think she might be a Trotskyist. Hopefully. I mean, all it says is she's a communist. I'm open to the idea, especially if it's a smaller office. But, you know, I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But anyways, now this one, I'm actually not going to cover the actual gist of the article. Because this is actually a secret. This is actually the beginning of 2020 Watch. Pretty soon I am going to have to actually make a low jingle for that. But, I mean, when I do, it's because here's the thing. This article actually talks about the history of the Green New Deal. It talks about the history of the Green New Deal. And talks about Howie Hawkins, who it's revealed in this article, Hawkins, who told me he is launching a presidential exploratory committee in the coming weeks. So, yeah, Howie Hawkins may run for the Green Party presidential candidacy. And that could be big. Because if he runs for the Green Party presidential candidacy, I mean, that really could mean, very simply, that, you know, he wins. Like, I mean, it's pretty given that he's gonna. It's pretty, like, he's the guy who freaking created the Green Party. What else could he do? But anyways, as you can tell by what I have on the screen right now, it's the biggest news of the time.
Change never takes place from the top on down, but always from the bottom on up.
Bernie Sanders' healthcare for all idea is gaining steam.
Free tuition, free college tuition, free tuition champion, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders added, the greatest threat to national security is climate change.
The future of our planet is at stake.
Sanders taking on Amazon.
Bernie Sanders has been consistent hammering about income inequality.
Nobody in America works 40 hours a week, should be living in poverty. So our economy is rigged. We have a campaign finance system which is corrupt.
Sanders leading the charge to stop war against Yemen.
The first time ever the Senate has voted to end an unauthorized war.
The fight against injustice has been the work of his life.
Jobs and education, not jails and incarceration. We are not going to retreat on women's rights.
Sanders pushing a bold agenda that includes protecting DACA recipients and comprehensive immigration reform.
You don't rip little children away from the arms of their mother.
A major announcement from Amazon. Amazon will raise its minimum wage to $15 an hour. 350,000 workers. Thousands of workers at Disney World will get raises. It's a victory for Bernie Sanders.
It's a victory for all workers.
Brothers and sisters, we have a lot of work in front of us.
If we are prepared to stand together, there is no end to what the great people of our nation can accomplish.
Thank you all very much.
So, yeah. As you can hear by all the noise I was making in the background via DNC National Convention and or me actually just saying it, I am 100% on board. I am feeling the burn. I am 100% feeling the burn again. Feel the burn. Feel the burn. We can feel the burn. That's the thing that was happening. I'm 100% endorsed Bernie Sanders for the Democratic presidential candidacy. Like, I'm just full on board Bernie. If I had a debit card, I would be giving him money right now. Now you might say, well, what about Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang, and da-da-da-da? I didn't even say Warren's name. I mean, if I'd give them money too, so that they could at least get on the debate stage. But I'm 100% on board with Bernie. I am Bernie or bust. It has to be either Bernie or Tulsi's my second choice. Bernie is the OG, the one that inspired this. This wouldn't be a thing if Bernie wasn't a thing. If this was not there, then this channel would not be here. It would not. It just would not. I mean, it wouldn't. If Bernie didn't run, I wouldn't have watched Secular Talk, or I wouldn't have watched Humanist Report or Jimmy Dore. Like, see, it literally says right here. The first one was just me being like, oh, I like weed. You know, and the Young Turks was kind of cool. But then it truly hit the biggest momentum with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, Bernie or bust. Bernie Sanders. It's Bernie. It has to be Bernie. It's Bernie. Half of these groups that people like Movement for a People's Party, or like a lot of these groups wouldn't exist. And of course CNN is still trying to be like, oh, actually, Bernie Sanders isn't the front runner. It's actually Kamala Harris. In 24 hours, Bernie Sanders raised $6 million. 24 hours after he said he's running, he raised $6 million. Kamala Harris had to wait an entire, one whole rotation. I mean, granted, in the same amount of time, one day, Bernie Sanders raised 6 times the amount Kamala Harris did. Yeah, but Kamala Harris is still a frontrunner because she's a black lady. Bernie is the frontrunner. In fact, you know how they try to silence progressives? This time, they can barely silence Bernie now. The wave is too big. This happened to Donald Trump. They tried to silence him and try to push Jeb Bush 2016, and then Marco Rubio 2016, and then Ted Cruz 2016, and John Kasich 2016. They tried to push that, but Trump's wave was too big. This time, Bernie's wave is going to get too big. And it's going to be because of people like me. You know why? I know people who are in my same age range. People a year older than me, 2 years older than me. People who are seniors in high school, sophomores in high school. I'm not that anymore, but back when I was a sophomore in high school, they were seniors, juniors, people that were screaming Bernie's name, but they just couldn't vote for him because they were too young. And now they're old enough to vote. And we are not going to get silenced. This time, Bernie Sanders will be the nominee. And even if you say, well, I mean, but what about the vote splitting that's going to happen? I mean, logically, let's look at it right now. Logically, let's look at it as of right now. Because this is going to be a big thing. Because this is it's a really big. Establishment, pretty establishment, progressive, establishment, progressive. Like logistically, even if you actually analyze how the votes could get split, it's only going to be split by Bernie, Warren, and Gabbard. And even then, the Warren people and the Gabbard people, they're smart enough to know that they're not going to stand a chance. And even just look at this group. Establishment, kind of progressive. Establishment, kind of, but not really. Establishment, progressive, establishment. The establishment vote, like, I mean, it's even going to the point where they're literally like, I mean, just look at them. And even people like Sherrod Brown and Elizabeth Warren are expected to at least split some of the establishment vote because they have a bit of an establishment grounds. I mean, of course, you may say Warren's isn't as pronounced, but, you know, Sherrod Brown, he would get different. And I will say, to be fair, Beto O'Rourke is probably a little less establishment now. But, I mean, he's still an establishment pick. But I definitely will say he has a better chance than a lot of these people. Like, I mean, I don't want to give too much spoilers for my list, because I'm making a video where I do where I rank the top 10 Democrats that could win the nomination and beat Donald Trump. That last part could actually be rewritten to just winning the nomination, because, you know, I mean, some of these guys I don't believe a lot of these guys can beat Trump. Honestly, if you told me which of these candidates has the best chance of beating Trump, it would be Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, Elizabeth Warren, then maybe then it might get a little too. I mean, even poll wise, I would say those guys. Spoilers, but I'm telling you one thing. Here's one thing that I will be 100% clear about. I have no clue why Castro, Delaney, or Klobuchar are here. Klobuchar especially. What the fuck are you doing? Nobody likes you. Seriously, there is nothing appealing about Amy Klobuchar or John Delaney. There is nothing that makes them unique. And yet they're still running. Delaney's been running since 2017. I would say maybe even Andrew Yang probably has a better chance than Amy Klobuchar. Klobuchar doesn't even make my top 10. And yet there's some idiots out there who think that she has the best chance of beating Donald Trump. You're almost as brain dead as Feinstein. But we'll probably get to that when we get to that. And right on cue, Bernie Sanders gets smeared. I mean, this isn't his smear. This isn't particularly a smear, but I mean, this is a smear, one part. Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat. I know that. That's why we like him. He's not a Democrat. And I like this guy. He's like, if you want to be the Democratic nominee, you should be a Democrat. If you're not a Democrat, you should run as an independent. off. Like, seriously. Screw off with that stupid bullshit. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody. And I mean, even to be fair, there is one, like, aspect that many people have been criticizing. What if WikiLeaks reveals some more shenanigans? And I have expressed concerns over the potential that they could rig the election against him. But it appears that at least some of the stuff is being lessened because of Bernie Sanders' newfound popularity. It was easier to do in 2016 when no one knew his name. But now that he's the most popular politician in the United States, people will notice. They can do it to Gabbard just fine. And Warren, they can do it to those two just fine. Those two, like, they don't have a town hall yet. Bernie Sanders, it's been announced that he's going to get a town hall this Monday, in fact. Monday at 8 p.m. I'm going to be watching it. It's going to be the only time I watch CNN because I need to make it known that Bernie Sanders is the best chance because he pulls in the views. And now, anyways, to get off of that tangent and rant, let's move on to the smaller party guy of the day. He's not a smaller party, but he's actually running as a Democrat. Ken E. Nowodike Jr. Ken Nowodike Jr., he's a motivational speaker. He's a peace activist and a video journalist, known for the Free Hugs guy and being a part of the Free Hugs Project. I mean, he produces motivational videos to spread love, inspiration, and raise awareness of social issues. He's a good guy, yeah, but of course you can't just be a good guy, you gotta give issues. Luckily, Nowodike does give some good issues. You know, he wants to reduce gun violence, combat climate change, community college debt-free, humane immigration, good-paying jobs, and better care for our veterans. There's not much to really say about him. He seems like a decent candidate, but of course he's not going to get far because he's a minor candidate. And now, to get on to the thing that everybody's been waiting for. Dang it. The E Pluribus Unum Awards. Let's remind you of the categories and the choices. Category 1, Best Top 10 Video. You could have chosen Top 10 Third-Party Candidates, post-1900, Top 10 Third-Party Candidates pre-1900, Top 11 Best Senators, in my opinion, or Top 10 E Pluribus Unum Screw-Ups of 2018. Category 2, Best Party History Video. You could have chosen Reform, Libertarian, Constitution, Green, Why Republicans Blue, Democrats Red, Citizen/Consumers Party, Peace and Freedom Party, American Independent Party, and all 3 progressive parties. Those could have been your choices. Best Presidential Candidates Video. You could have chosen Roseanne Barr, Jack Feller, Jimmy Debs, D's Nuts, other 2012 Democrats, and Evan McMullen. Best Thoughts on Fireside Chat. You could have chosen Dave Rubin, Ben Shapiro, Bill Maher, Freedom Tunes, or Progressive Voice. Best Ideology Video. You could have chosen Classical Liberalism, Social Democracy, Colors and Politics, Christian Democracy, New Democrats, and Paleoconservatism. Best Guest. You could have chosen John Wolfe Jr. or Mr. Beat. Sorry, Ian Schlockman, this was for 2018. Maybe you'll be on the next one. I mean, you will be on the next one. That's just given. Best Series/Sub-Series on my channel. Main videos, party history videos, ideology videos, presidential candidates videos, top 10s, elecciones presidenciales en la historia mexicana, fireside chats, thoughts on or film reviews. And these are the ones that are more politicized. Worst newsworthy moment of 2018, Kemp stealing his election, the Kavanaugh confirmation, beginning of government shutdown, Barbara Lee losing caucus chair, Gary Johnson not even getting second place, NC District 9 election controversy, or Brenda Snipes possibly stealing FL-23 from Tim Canova. Worst politician of the year, Donald Trump, Joe Crowley, Heidi Heitkamp, Steve King, Ron DeSantis, Brian Kemp, Don Blankenship, Arvin Vohra, Brett Kavanaugh, Joe Manchin, Suzanne Collins, and Gary Johnson. Yeah, John McCain is on this one because he freaking died. I mean, what presidential candidate dies? the best newsworthy moment of the year, the blue wave, Senate voting to end Yemen genocide, 5 Justice Democrats getting elected, or Mexico's political revolution. And best politician of the year, Bernie Sanders, Ro Khanna, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Richard Ojeda, Beto O'Rourke, Mike Lee, Stacey Abrams, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, Levi Tillman, or Kenneth Mejia. Alright, let's get on with the results. And the winner for best top 10 video is, hold on, I'm gonna write them down so that I can release like a little thing so that they have like official awards. Should have written this while I was doing the Ken Nwadike thing, but I mean, this is authenticity. You get to hear the unbridled rage. Okay. Almost done. Again, I probably should have written this while I was doing that, but this will lengthen the episode. Top 10 third party. Which one was it? And the winner is Top 10 third party candidates post 1900. The first video. Oh my goodness. This is really cool. The first video I did, which had like a super echoey microphone and very bad video editing, with me finding like a little red line underneath a lot of the candidate pictures because I couldn't stretch it out properly. I'd still get that occasionally, but I at least try. I mean, honestly, one day I'll probably try to redo that episode. I mean, wow, I actually kind of didn't expect that. I'm touched. It's my best video because you wanted it to be my last video. I get it. Okay. I should probably make predictions on what I think is going to win. Best party history video. I would predict Libertarian Party or Reform Party. And the best party history video is Libertarian Party. Woohoo! Libertarian Party. That is really expected. I mean, but there's one guy who voted for the Constitution Party. As you can see, not a lot of people voted because none of my subscribers actually care that much. But anyway, it's nice that some of them actually decided to participate. Best presidential candidates video. I'm gonna say I think Eugene V. Debs wins because that's honestly the one that I put the most effort into. The ones I usually predict that are gonna win are the ones I usually put the most effort into. And the winner is Eugene V. Debs. What a surprise. I saw these like a month ago, and I'm pretty sure some of them changed. But, maybe some of them didn't, maybe they didn't. I don't remember really what any of them are. Best thoughts on Fireside Chat. I'm gonna say maybe Dave Rubin. Because it's not only is the first one, but it was the one I got most fiery about. And the winner is a 3-way tie. A 3-way tie. And none of them was Dave Rubin. I get the Bill Maher one, maybe even the Freedom Tunes one. But one in particular was good at the Ben Shapiro one. So maybe we'll have to do a tiebreaker? Probably won't. I would say if I were to just give the villain, like I'm not gonna just force the. I'm not gonna make my choice. Because, out of the 3 given, I would probably say Bill Maher is probably the best, actually. Of the three given. Yeah, I would say the Bill Maher one is the best one. Because I was, again, like the most fiery. Because I really do not like Bill Maher. Especially, I mean, Bill Maher now, he's endorsed Bernie Sanders again. That's a good thing, but, you know, he doesn't really, I mean, best ideology video. You know, maybe I would say Colors in Politics, because again, that's the one I put the most effort into. And the winner is Social Democracy. Wow, because I guess because social democracy is my political ideology, so it probably would be the one that I most know about. Though it might have been like, although maybe people could have been like mad because it would have been less objective. But, you know, whatever. Best guest. You know, nothing against John Wolf Jr., but I'm pretty sure I saw a while ago Mr. Beat was winning, so Mr. Beat. He wins. You know, that's not surprising. I mean, what OG who started it all, or some politician from Tennessee that I found lying on the ground. Nothing against John Wolf Jr. Hit me up again if you want another interview at one point in the future, but maybe not in the most. Not now. I got like too many stacked up. Best series or sub-series on my channel. This one could potentially mean what I focus on the most. So I would probably say party history videos, because those are the ones I'm probably the most known for. A three-way tie between ideology videos, presidential candidate videos, and top 10s. And that sucks for you, because ideology videos are... I don't think I have any ideology vids planned in the near future. Nothing against ideology vids, but it's like, you know, they're kind of small. I mean, party history videos are like my most fun that I have. Because, I mean, presidential candidates are not that bad either. I mean, in top 10s... top 10s, really, it's sometimes really hard to do those, not do those in particular, because, kind of, because they are, like, kind of opinionated, and, you know, you probably wouldn't want that, though, if you don't want my opinions, don't follow me on Twitter, and, I can't really think of, like, objective top 10 lists. I mean, even then, they're not really all... I don't know. I don't really have much of those planned in the future either. Because I can't think of any ideas. You got any ideas, let me know in the description. Now, I know what you're probably saying, like, top 10 House representatives, but there are way too many House representatives, or top 10 governors. Well, then I'd have to do a lot of research on individual governors. And do you know how many governors have been around in each state? We're probably not... That's going to be difficult. Maybe you could say, like, top 10 conservatives. I don't know. Worst newsworthy moment of 2018. You know, I'm going to go on a limb here and say maybe people especially considering people in this subsection of my... Look, my fans probably don't all agree with me 100% politically, but I'm going to say maybe the Kavanaugh confirmation. Because I think actually on both sides of the aisle, you could say that it's bad. Because think about it, if you're like a leftist or even like a Democrat, you would say, you say in your mind, as I do, that someone who is very openly committed sexual assault got on the Supreme Court. But if you're someone who's a rightist, you believe that this poor innocent justice was smeared in the mud by some deranged, like, hippie leftists. But, you know, I'm going to say maybe Kavanaugh confirmation. Oh, it's a tie. Kemp stealing his election and the Kavanaugh confirmation. I guess election stealing is pretty bad. I mean, it's clearly not that bad because it's legal. It's called gerrymandering. I'm gerrymandered to have David Price for the rest of my life. Oh boy. I'm gonna be living with that for a long time. I mean, at least until David Price dies. Which, judging by the way he looks, is gonna be pretty soon, my friends. Just you wait. And guess who's gonna be replacing him? This guy. But, you know, probably not. Worst politician of the year. Oh boy. I wonder who could win. Is it going to be the president? The guy who lost to AOC? The Democrat that everybody saw was going to lose in a mile away? The racist? The kind of racist? The stole elections guy? China person? I didn't say it, he did. Guy who said that if you're gay, that's the same thing as child molestation? But don't worry, he wasn't saying that because he wanted to make gay people feel bad. He wanted to use that to prep up child molestation. The guy who possibly sexually harassed someone? Two of the accusations are credible. One isn't. You decide which two they are. The two who voted him in? Or the guy who couldn't even pull second place in the race in the state that he was freaking in charge of? I'm gonna say Trump. Ooh, a three-way tie between the kind of racist, the racist, and the traitor. The dino. Democrat in name only. Wow. I expected Trump, but I didn't really expect King Manchin. I kind of expected. I was 100% convinced that Gary Johnson was not going to win this. But, you know, I expected maybe like one super lefty in my fan base to be like, man, I hate Joe Crowley. But, you know, I mean, given that, you know, people really hate Donald Trump, you know, it was a given. Anyways, the best newsworthy moment of the year. Was it the blue wave? I'm going to say maybe it was the blue wave. Even though I don't particularly like a lot of the people associated with the blue wave, Lucy McBath, Sharice Davids, I can't think of another guy. Connor Lamb, Jason Crow. I hate those guys too. I hate them. I'm going to say maybe the blue wave. Ooh, it's a two-way tie. Blue wave and 5 Justice Dems getting elected. Which you might say, why were they two separate categories? They were the same thing. Well, because I only like the 5 Justice Democrats who got elected and a couple more. Some of them I learned afterwards. And I mean, to be fair, I mean, even then I still opened myself up for betrayal. Like, Veronica Escobar became part of the New Democrat coalition. But then again, she technically hasn't failed vote-wise. But now, let's get into the last one. Who's the best politician of the year? You know, I'm going to say maybe Bernie Sanders wins this one. I'm going to say, yeah, he probably does. Now, to be fair, a lot of these other guys, they did do well for who they were. Ro Khanna being like the hugest supporter of ending the Yemen genocide. AOC being the representative of the Justice Democrats, Ojeda and O'Rourke pulling very close margins in deep red areas. Abrams for fighting to keep her seat open. I mean, granted, nowadays it seems that she's cozying up to the corporate establishment a little too much. AMLO for doing the impossible. And when I get to his election, you'll find out what that impossible is. Levi Tilleman for openly exposing the corruption in the Democratic Party and showing that after 2016, they haven't really changed. And Kenneth Mejia for, being the closest thing that we got to, like, a Green in Congress. Like, the closest chance a Green had in Congress. And Mike Lee doing, like, the helping with the ending genocide thing, but from the Republican side. Let's see who wins. A three-way tie between Sanders, Ocasio-Cortez, and O'Rourke. I mean, couldn't you have at least voted for Ojeda? I mean, if you wanted to support someone, could you have at least picked a more intellectually honest one? Now, I know I did endorse, I was typing Ojeda as I was saying like that. But, like, I know I endorsed O'Rourke, and I do think he's probably not as bad as, say, Kamala Harris. But O'Rourke is still rather corporate centrist-y. But, it's a given. So, anyways, I guess that's all I have for the E Pluribus Unum Awards. Next year's E Pluribus Unum Awards will probably be actually scheduled a whole lot better. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell to be notified when a future video of mine comes out. And if you're interested in more political content from me, you can go to my website or follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Quora, or check out my articles on the Independent Political Report. What are your thoughts on the E Pluribus Unum Awards? Do you want me to do them more? Or do you think I should stop doing them altogether? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below.